Alright, I'm here with the Western Electric, which I suspect might have been made by Westinghouse. I'm not 100% sure about that, but the other fan I got with this one is a Westinghouse, and boy, they're awfully similar. I don't know. Who knows? You know, let me know what you think. Maybe Western Air was totally its own company. It could be. I haven't done much research. So I thought I'd try to get the oscillating stuff apart so that I could get the motor apart, but as you know, you've probably done this. I've really never done this before, but this is not going to move anywhere until the base comes apart. So I've got there's a cotter pin and a little washer. Cotter pin broke, but that can be replaced. The way this works, this is how this one adjusts. Okay, readjust, buddy. What you do here is you adjust this screw and it moves the arm. As you can see, it's moving out and then it moves it the other way. It kind of slides on that threaded deal. So that's kind of interesting. But again, this won't come off until we can move the whole thing down. So in order to do that, I'm going to mark the wires, the head wire on both sides, so that I can then cut it. So I can keep track of what went where, because I'm going to make a diagram when I get the base apart of where all the contacts go and everything, so that I can try and wire this thing back together. The cloth, I had to cut it, but it really rips pretty easily because it's old cord. You guys have done this stuff before. So I'm going to mark each side of the cord and then cut it in between. That way I kind of know, A, B, and C, and then I can trace them back to where they go onto the switch plate, so that when I wire it all back together, I'll know what's going on. That's the plan. Alright, I've got them marked. A, B, B, C, C. Always B closing. Always. A, always. B, B, C, closing. Coffee is for closers. So, we're going to cut the wires, and then I can start pulling it apart from here and not worry about not knowing what the F's going on. So there you go. This is what came off the motor side of the oscillator over here. 2 washers, a big heavy screw that went all the way through to the base part, and then there was a nut on the other side of the base part to hold it in. So there was not a washer under the base part. There was just a washers in between the arm. This is for my reference, but the other thing that came off, let's see if this just comes off there now, which it does. Hold on. The other side of the oscillator, under the big disc, there was one of these on either side and a cotter pin, which I broke. The other thing that's interesting is the screws on the front that held on the cage seem to have held on the rear part of this. It seems to be coming apart. All of the main part of it here is connected to the base. The problem I'm having is I don't think the base is going to come apart. That's my biggest fear. I got all these parts off of it. We got we got this guy, and we got the little smaller thumb screw, which I think is a lock. There seems to be 2 of them, and then this screw inside the other side of the base. But this is all seems to be pressed in. I don't know how that would come apart without destroying it. If you have any thoughts, let me know. And now let's see, now that this is disconnected from the machine, the mechanism deal, let's see if the back of this, I don't know if it's going to come off, but it sure seems loose. The rotor seems to be going with it. We'll see. We're going to be as careful as we can. I'm going to move some of these tools. Even after having removed these screws on the outside, the whole stator wants to seem to come out of here. It seems to me that it's because this is all connected to the shaft, because it's probably geared in. It's either a worm gear or whatever. So I pulled off a little of the electrical tape that was under the bottom here. This has been obviously doctored up a few times. I don't want to lose my my reminders of where I was. That was the whole point of that. So that's hopefully when it does come up, if and when it does come apart, I'll be able to pull it through here safely without banging up. The trick is you want it to be a smooth transition because you don't want to mess up the windings in any way. If you can try not to. I've kind of given up on this whole stuff coming apart. I don't think it's going to, at least not with the tools I have. So we'll go without planning to repaint the thing or whatever for now. We're going to try to get it apart. I don't know if I really don't know what to expect. I thought that that the outer housings here would be more seriously connected to the stator, but it seems to be moving around. When I had this flipped over as I was working on the oscillator, I noticed as I'd been tapping on it, this was coming loose. I was like, holy crap, the whole thing's coming apart. So I guess the next thing to do will be to take this little cover off. And so I'm going to stop for now. That'll be the next plan. I'll try to, if that little cover comes off and we can get it to come apart without any major problems, maybe we can move forward with it. We'll see. I haven't even gotten, there's oilers on either side. Those left come apart, I'll have to order felt for them. But that's here nor there because we really just need to figure out if it's electrically sound, if it's actually going to run. That's what we don't really know. And as soon as if we can get all this cleaned out, maybe it'll turn over easy because it just sort of stops. It doesn't really, you can hear it. Anyway, that's what I've found. So, yeah. Western Electric Part 2. Stay tuned for Part 3. Let me know if you have any thoughts on how to get this out of here without destroying it. At the moment, I think I'm just going to leave it. Because it looks like I'll be able to... It looks at the moment like this will come apart without taking this all apart. So that'll be what we'll start with, I guess. You know. So there you go. Let me know any of your thoughts on this. If you've had anything like this apart, what I should keep an eye out for. Try not to destroy it as I go. Right? That's all you're trying to do. And if I hit a major wall, then maybe it'll be time to just throw it all back together and wait until I can send it to somebody that can do the job right. Because it is an antique, you know. And anyway, that's the deal.